Okay, good morning. This is Bonsai Anonymous, and we'll start the day with some good news. The pots that I worked on yesterday seem to be okay. This is the pot that was sitting right here that I made out of the clump of concrete that I had left over, and you can see it's still wet around the edges, and that's because it's thicker. So I'm putting him up here where he can't be damaged. Okay, here, this is also good news, believe it or not. This is a pot that I took a plant out of yesterday that was dead. Maybe it was 2 days ago. But anyway, the plant was dead. So, and I also noticed that the pot had cracked right like this. Okay, so this pot is one of the pots that I made a long time ago when I had a lot of blue sand, and the blue sand, I put too much in. I mean, I put enough in to color the concrete blue, but I can go along here and break pieces off easily. As you can see right there, there's a little piece that's fractured. So what I decided to do with this, it's kind of cold out here, by the way. It's in the 60s. Anyway, that's why I have my hot coffee. Okay, so anyway, what I did with this, I don't know if I want to lift it up anymore. These are going to have to be legs on the bottom, possibly, because I don't want this to be sealed down like this where water can't get through. But I turned it over once yesterday. I'm going to turn it over again. This was repaired yesterday. Ugh. And there's the crack. So I'm going to have to probably go in here. I mean, it's a mess. I'm probably going to have to go in here and repair it some more and quit handling it so much. So I'll put, oh, by the way, I'm going to fix, later on today, I'm going to fix this pot by mixing some concrete to patch these two areas. I mean, I might as well do that one too, and I don't know, that one anyway. So he's going under here like this. All right? This is the elephant that, it's hard to tell, but that's an elephant, and he used to sit on a pot. And there's the piece of the pot that broke off. I tried to glue him on yesterday with no luck. Okay, so anyway, that's pretty good news. Oh, on this, I have to move it out here so you can see it. This is the one I was working on yesterday. It's got concrete down here with supports with wire, sort of like rebar. It's this stuff, and so that made the bottom stronger. The sides, which are underneath the bottom, underneath there is the old concrete. This is the top. This is concrete colored black with black concrete, I don't know what you call it, stain. It's powder. It looks like, I got something I can show you. Maybe. Okay, here it is. This is the stuff. And it looks unimpressive. I was unimpressed by this. This comes from Sri Lanka. At least most of what I see does. And it comes in these little bags. I have no idea what they make it out of, if it's toxic or not. This is Sri Lanka. But I buy it. This top has one entire bag full of black coloring in it mixed in. So what I hope is after it dries, we'll be able to see clear demarcation here. I was thinking about smoothing this off some, but I think I'm going to leave it because it appeals to me, and it's plenty thick now. I mean, the very rim is soft, but not the rest of it. Okay, so what's in the future for this? Ugh, what do we got? I'm looking for a way to get a different share. And, anyway, this one is, the wheels are off it. It's a regular office chair. The wheels are off it, and it doesn't roll. It sucks. Anyway, the next thing to do with this is to build the wall in the middle. That's going to be that high, as high as this is. It's going to be a different color. It's going to be brown, like a, it's going to have one of these colors in it, this brown or one of the others that I have. There's a few others back here. By the way, you can buy this, not that I'm a sponsor at all of this, or it sponsors me, but you can buy it on eBay. Just do concrete coloring powder and you'll bring up a site that has a number of different colors. I bought 3 more colors yesterday. And what I have to just accept is the fact that it's going to take a whole bag. I thought maybe I could do half a bag on this part, then use a half a bag to make this black, but I decided not to. The bags of color are $6.75 or something like that, and it's worth it to me to put 2 of them in this to make it more attractive for 14 bucks or whatever. Okay, so that's got to be that way, the wall. Then over here, and I haven't even designed this yet. I've worked on it, but I haven't got it completed. But over here, I got to stop bending this because sooner or later it's going to not bend back. So, all right, that's almost right. Almost. So it has to be tilted upward, and the very top has to be tilted upward because water is going to come through a pipe, which hopefully you won't be able to see. It'll be through this path and come up here and then come out at the top, and down at the bottom end there'll be a little pump. I never decided if it's going to be solar powered or battery or what, but something I want to tell you about while I'm thinking about it here, if I can find one. 2 things actually. This is a rechargeable a rechargeable 9-volt battery. Okay. Now I have some that are orange that are a little higher voltage, and I think, or higher milliamps, but I think it has a plug-in charger. But this plugs into, it holds 2 9-volts. Anyway, I decided to use these to test my pumps because a lot of the pumps are solar, and it's not always sunny like right now. The sun's up, but not shining on me. Anyway, I use these to check pumps. Just take the wires and touching one here. And then it occurred to me that going ahead and hooking a solar panel to this is iffy. I have mixed results with solar panels. But this thing, of which I have quite a few, by the way, there's another one that's 5,400 milliamps, and I recently learned what that means, why this is 600, the other one is 5,400. They both have 9 volts or close to it. But I've been using it to check pumps in the yard, and I decided that one of the ways that I can make these pumps work when I want them to is to have connectors coming out. I don't know if I took them in, probably did. Connectors coming out from these that can hook one to the 2 ends of the pump, and then while I'm outside I can watch the pump go. Maybe put it in a plastic bag upside down or something so it doesn't leak. And I found that these last a long time when they're working on something like this, especially the orange one, which has more staying power, as they say. But I also use these to run light strips, LED strips, when I don't have a way to get to a power outlet or anything. I use batteries, and I found that they last a long time with LED strips. So boy, am I off the track. But anyway, probably I'm going to end up making this a pump that has a 9-volt battery back here that runs it, and I could be in the rain. I could put it upside down, but anyway, it'll run the pump, and I think it'll be nice. We're going to have half a thing here for the plant on this side or whatever I do, and then half on this side for the water. So while I'm sitting here, I'm going to tell you that probably the water part is going to be painted even more darker than it is, or a combination of silver, green, and blue paint, which kind of looks nice, almost like a swimming pool. Okay, so that's as far as I can stretch the good news. Now we have to go to the bad news. Sometimes plants don't make it. This is a willow that was painted, that was planted, looks like on the 14th of February, which I'm not mistaken is Valentine's Day. So this tag is no more. Why? Well, the plant is dead. Okay? So what we're doing today is we're doing postmortems, and I look here, and I don't see anything white down here whatsoever, and I know I won't find any more down there either. So this plant is dead. Now, what I would like to know is why it is, and I think I know the answer in this case. And it's this. This is my mame soil, and it's actually it's coming out of there. I thought it would be completely packed. It is kind of packed. I think that if I use this soil again, I'm going to have to change it a little bit. I mean, there it is. It actually is dry. I thought maybe it would be water soaked, but anyway, it could be that this plant died because of lack of water. I can't really think of another reason, although I have been watering it, and if you look down here, you'll see that this is totally dry. Totally dry. You can stick to my hands. And so I'm going to have to, if I'm going to use this. By the way, this is a surprise to me. I thought this would be like one brick of this dirt, and it doesn't appear to be that that's the reason. I think, if anything, it died because the drainage was too good. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And this plant sat there in this dry dirt, watering once a day, the water goes right through, and that's one possibility, and that is, could be. But there are other willow trees that I have around here that are planted in this dirt that haven't died. So the detective story is to tell why that happened. Why did it happen in this case? And so far, the two possibilities, neither of them. All right, there we go. Neither of them really hold up. This one looks like it died from not enough water. Yet we have some around the yard that were planted exactly the same way, and they're alive. So something's different. Okay. The other possibility, by the way, this is now a pot that can be used. I probably should wash all these out so that whatever was in it that's caused its demise is not there anymore. Okay, so we'll put you up there. So the possibilities, I think, are two. One is that it had not enough water. I don't think, I mean, it could have too much water if the bottom was plugged. But that didn't look like that when I unplugged it. It was dry as a bone. And this, I'm thinking this might be too. Anyway, the other possibility, and that could account for this one, is that the fertilizer that I just put in is killing it. And that's definitely a possibility. So what we're going to do, okay, so when I have one like this that I have to dig the plant out, I'm going to actually try to get him out and not damage the roots so I can look at them. So there's some of that. It's nice and wet under here, so maybe too wet. This is one that might have been too wet. You can see it's kind of sticking to my fingers, and I think what I'm observing is, I mean, that's way too wet. So I watered him to death. That's no question of that. Okay? And he had some serious roots. I mean, I strung those all the way around, hoping that I would make contact. But he's a goner. I think he's gone because of the extra water. So I think I planted him in this new soil. No, not really. He's in dirt, and that's not great. I think maybe what I thought was I would take the original dirt that he was in and replant him in it. And so that one's goes up on the pile here. I'm trying to think of a way to remove all this stuff that's been over here that's for potting. And I want to remove all of it. So I was telling you something. When I take this dirt out that has, like this one's coming out too, and it's going to have, this was planted in November. It says pistachio, but that's not true. This isn't pistachio. Okay, so when I take this dirt out, it has the blue stones in it, and rather than try to sort them out and separate them. I just leave them in the soil because it's part of bonsai soil to have something like this in it. For a while, I thought that this stuff might be hurting the plants, but I bombed ahead anyway and used it so many times, and I really can't blame it for any of the problems. If anything, it helps. It helps hold the plant in. It's heavy. So anyway, this plant, I don't really know what it is, okay, but I think it's dead, so we're going to take him out. And what we do, I look down. So what I do is I look down here, and I see if there's any white roots. Now they don't smell bad, they're just dead, okay? So these guys will go on the sacrificial pyre later today. And I can't tell you what's wrong with him either. Let's get this dirt. I'll keep all of them separate. I have enough containers over here to do this. So here's one. Why do I have all these containers? Well, I use them to make pots. I mean, this isn't just a regular old plastic bowl, but this was a pulled pork container and blah, blah, blah. So I use them to make pots. So let's look here. This is wetter than I think it should be. So, looking down at the bottom, I think what happens sometimes with these, that's earth, so we'll put them over here. I don't really think there's any reason why earthworms can't be in this. Now at the bottom, you know, I don't think it's waterlogged. So the other thing is that could have killed this, although this has been dead for a while, so I don't know that that's the case with this one, but is this new fertilizer that I use. I got some fertilizer with 12-10-10 is what it is. And, I put it on every plant around the 23rd and 24th of this month. And I think most of them have done okay. There's another thing I did for plants at one point. I put these fertilizer things in. Okay, so this is a ruby petalum. A ruby petalum. That is one thing you can do to check to see if they're really dead is you can break something. And see, that breaks pretty well, and that means it's pretty dead. So what I was going to say is I'm taking this out to see what the bottom looks like. This grew in here for a long time. I mean, I'm hoping that I can find out what's wrong with it. Okay. I have my little root break under there, but it's under this. And I don't really need to get it out to do this. Ah, the sun's in my eyes, and that's nice. Okay, so this is what I would call a real nice root ball. So it was growing well, okay, growing well, and then all of a sudden it died. And this has been dead for a long time too. So it could be that this root ball was what it grew in before, and I put the whole root ball in the pot, and that is how it ended up where it is. But in the bottom here, we have, okay, so this is what happens after a while. You get, it's just packed in. And if you looked at that root ball, I don't think it went too far down into this. Right? So this is a failed attempt, I think, to combine dirt and it's wet in the bottom. So this is definitely a candidate for root rot. Okay, grew in that pot for a long time, and we're gonna next time we'll watch whatever we put in there a little better, if indeed I do put it in there. This is all this. So this is a combination it doesn't have any or very little of the colored gravel. That means it's been around for a long time. Okay, this one just died. So this is a recent one. And I took another one out like this the other day. I didn't bring my watch out today, so I hope I'm not completely making it so you guys can't see. This is going to need a little bigger one. So I save all these plastic containers, and what they do for me is a lot. I can use them for a greenhouse, and I've actually had a plant or two come in growing under that. I've recently taken almost all the plants out of inside. Decided I would give them a chance out here. So anyway, this was one of my favorite plants, and it is an Ixora, and I have a feeling if I cut it, I would still find some green. So I'm hopeful that I can do something for this one. I tried to do it the other day with a silver buttonwood. Okay, so yeah, I don't know that that's terribly wet. So I have to be willing to accept that. Okay, now let's look at this, because if we look very carefully, we see tiny little roots, white roots. So it might not be quite dead yet. So we're going to put him up there. Do the rest of this. And I'm trying to do something that I read about in one of Peter Chan's books. Chan, I think it is something. And that is, see how wet that is? So the other thing that's happening, is that something that I'm using in my bonsai soil is disintegrating, turning into this clay. And what I need to do is an experiment to see what it is. And I think the way I'm going to do it is just take some smaller plastic containers and put examples of the different kinds of soil that I'm using, and see which ones disintegrate. Okay. Here's one I did last night. This is where the silver buttonwood was, and right next to the Ixora. And I found that the silver buttonwood had been messed with by somebody. Someone had, I don't mean a person, I mean a plant, an animal. Someone had dug up, or at least disturbed the root ball. And I don't know, that might be what happened here too, with this Ixora right next to it. I sit inside and I watch animals go for it. Okay, so another thing about this pot, and also the Ixora pot, is they may be too shallow for what I was trying to put in it. I mean, this, can you see how big that root ball is? You really can't fit in there. So if we can get him back, which I don't know if we can, but if we can, we're going to put him in something different. So what is it going to be? It has to be something kind of deep. All right, I know what we need to do. I'm losing my train of thought. So anyway, Peter Chan, my memory is so bad, and it tells me that something is the case, and then I check later and it isn't. So it could be Chen or Chan. I only have 5 of his books, so you'd think I would know by now. So what he suggested was, and I don't think it's going to work in there, what he suggested was that you put these in sphagnum moss. And just watch and see what happens. Okay. Here's the one I used, or another one. Let's try. Okay, so this has a thing in the bottom. We're going to use it. So he says put, and I think I am going to cut off some of these that appear to be dead, so I can get you in the plant pot. None of other ones that appear to be live. Will that work? Almost. So that's not bad. So what he says to do is put them in sphagnum moss and just let them sit in it. Now, maybe you can see tiny little white roots. Now, when I do the next step, I have to try not to disturb those too much. So let's go over here and see if we can't find some sphagnum moss. I'll do this. All right. Sorry about that. And what I thought was sphagnum moss is indeed peat moss. And although it says sphagnum peat moss, how can that be? I don't think it could be both. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Put some of this in here, like that. And then we're going to put you in here and try to keep those roots. Okay. So he says that if you do this and just leave it go, I think maybe water it. Can't let anything go without watering. Just a little bit. Now right now, this stuff is pretty wet already. Now why it should be, I don't know. So he says that this stuff is like magic. And so of all the people that I listen to on the internet, he's the one I'm most likely to listen to. And there's some others. I mean, if you look at his history, you'll see that he has been around for a long time. Okay, so this is an Ixora. And somewhere up here I have a pencil with an eraser. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to get this all erased. So this one is one that, I don't know, I mean the leaves are floppy a little still, but this is an Ixora, potted, peat, 3, 30. 24. Now, that's good enough for him. He'll go back out. It's very light. It's okay. I mean, I can put some water in it, I guess, if I want. From the bottom a little, like that. And just let it sit and drain. I don't even remember where I put the other one. Maybe it's over here someplace. Oh yeah, it's right behind me. So I'll put this one over. With the, this one's going to sit by the frangipani back there. So that's some heavy work. Okay, now comes the main act. This is another one that. Oh, he's on his way. Okay, so. All these leaves here are falling, you can just get rid of. We're moving in and the view out here a little. That. Okay, so we'll keep going here. Where's my scissors? So I'm going to trim you back to where you're alive. I can find a spot. Like that. All right. What about you? I'm going to take you back to here. Let's see anything up there. Can't tell. Alright, we're going to go around here, see what happens. Is there any green there? Yeah, there's some green. Okay, so if we cut down to the green, alright, now let's see. I'm going to trim your tree. It's easier to trim these when they're defoliated. Now, what I don't know, I don't think you're quite dead yet. So we're going to take you back to a bud. There's a bud there. So this one I'm pretending that it's still alive. And without any real evidence of it. Well, that's not true. There's a little evidence. And what it is these leaves that aren't completely dead. So some of these out here in the center. There's one. I'm trying to get down to where there might be something living. We don't live. This to the trail. Probably can't see at all what I'm doing. Okay. Sooner or later that's just going to fall. That's all right. Some of this. So seems like it's the same plant. Okay. There's one here. It's right down here. Okay. I think I see what the problem is here. It's waterlogged. So what we have to do is set him here and make sure he doesn't go this. Which he could. So I'm not going to let him go. We have to. Not. Almost. What we do is we can get you out here. And you had serious hurts. So we're in a case of waterlogged. Okay, so we gotta dry you out. Some of these roots, some of what I'm feeling here may be from the last plant. That was on the other side. That's all there. So we're going to call that a day here. This one also needs to be put in peat moss. And here, let me show you. Stripping. Okay, so it was over in the pile, got two. All right, so this is all old dirt. We're not going to mess with it. And we're going to dry you out. You are going to be a peat moss chip. Right? If you do 3 or 4 of these, sooner or later maybe one of them will be okay. Okay, so if I see anything under here that looks like a white root, I know what I can do. Put you in here and just soak you up. Yeah, there's a few here. Not too many though. Okay, so we're going to do him too. He gets to be in a bigger one. And I'll just put him in there. It's a good spot. And we don't. Is that where I want that? Probably not. I probably want him in a one that has a hole in the bottom. Okay, so anyway, we're going to do that. We'll do it in here. I was going to plant him up in some dry dirt, but I think he's close enough to being dead that we'll do something different. So what it's going to be is just let him go. Now, I was talking about this. This is peat moss. And it says it's sphagnum peat moss, which it might be. It might be. I mean, it truly might be. Put it in here like this. Glad I have some of this. I really didn't think I did. And most of it doesn't look like this. Most of it doesn't look. Most of it looks really dry and kind of like weeds. So, okay. So I'm taking your advice, Peter. I know you spend your evenings checking my videos out. You know, the truth is, if I knew him and he asked me to, he would do it. I just know he would. I think he's dedicated to this and helping people do this. Okay, so we put just a little more in here. Tap it down. The advantage doing it here is that you can see what you're doing, pretty much. Stamp it down a little more. Back over to the side and underneath. Okay, so, all right, so there we have it. Another example of trying to save a plant. Well, I may have saved a few. Well, I may have. Not many. Okay, so we go in here like this. I have 2 things of water down here, and I try to keep one as if it's used for plants, and the other is not used for rinsing off pocket and stuff like that. So let me just put this so he doesn't fall. We're going to erase this. To save movie 3, 30, 24. Okay, so he's in here. And I'm not going to water these guys too much because we have enough water. Okay, so we're basically done with that. And when I take this off of here, you'll see what I got down here. I got all these containers full of dirt. I kept them separate. I probably will throw all of this in the used bonsai soil pot, and hopefully over time it could maybe dry. I don't know. We'll see. So we had some casualties here. He's not let's just rinse him off and see what he looks like, just for the heck of it. He's been dead for weeks and weeks and weeks. So you can see what it looks like when they're really, really dead. I don't see a single piece of white in there. So these all go over here, supposedly beyond the fence. I didn't make any of them in there. So that's it. Bonsai Anonymous out.